The most advanced fighter jet on Earth roars into the sky, carrying sensors so sensitive they can track a marble from miles away, weapons so precise they can strike through a window, and a price tag that could buy an entire neighborhood. Then it happens. That jet is ordered to intercept a drone that costs less than a luxury SUV, a flying machine built with commercial parts, basic navigation, and a simple explosive payload. Why would any military gamble a $100 million F-35 against a $70,000 Iranian drone? At first glance, it sounds insane, wasteful, almost arrogant. But beneath that single interception lies a far deeper truth about modern warfare, deterrence, and the invisible battles shaping the future of global power. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a question that seems simple on the surface, but unravels into one of the most important military debates of our time. Why would the United States risk its crown jewel fighter, a symbol of technological dominance, to take down a drone that appears almost disposable by comparison? Every 10 seconds of this story pulls us deeper into a world where cost no longer defines value, where restraint can be more dangerous than action, and where the smallest threats can trigger the biggest consequences. Stay with me, because what seems like a lopsided exchange is actually a calculated move in a much larger and far more dangerous game unfolding right now. Imagine you are a commander watching a radar screen light up at 2 in the morning. A small, slow, moving object has crossed into protected airspace. It is not a commercial aircraft. It is not broadcasting identification. It is not responding to warnings. Intelligence suggests it is Iranian, made, possibly armed, possibly gathering data, possibly probing defenses. You have seconds to decide. Do you ignore it because it is cheap? Do you wait and risk it reaching a sensitive target? Or do you act decisively, knowing the world is watching every move you make? This is the first loop of modern warfare where hesitation can be exploited and every response sends a message far beyond the battlefield. The emotional weight of that decision is rarely discussed. It is easy to debate numbers from a distance, but in the moment, lives, alliances, and national credibility are on the line. That $70,000 drone could be mapping radar frequencies, testing reaction times, or carrying explosives meant for a ship, a base, or civilians. Allowing it to operate freely is not frugality, it is an invitation. And that is where the F-35 enters the story, not as a blunt hammer, but as a signal flare visible to adversaries across the globe. The F-35 is not just a fighter jet, it is a flying intelligence node. Every second it is airborne, it is collecting data, sharing information with ships, satellites, and ground forces, and painting a picture of the battle space that no other aircraft can match. When it intercepts a drone, it is not merely destroying a target, it is learning. It is recording how the drone behaves, how it communicates, how it reacts under pressure. That data is worth far more than the missile fired to destroy the drone, and far more than the drone itself. Here is the next suspenseful turn. In modern conflict, the goal is often not to avoid spending money, but to avoid losing control. Cheap weapons are designed to tempt restraint. They are meant to swarm, to overwhelm, to normalize intrusion. If a drone costs almost nothing and it slips through defenses repeatedly without consequence, it becomes a psychological weapon. It conditions decision makers to accept violations, to hesitate, to rationalize inaction. The United States understands this, and so do its rivals. This is why the question is not why risk an F-35, but what happens if you do not. Allowing even a single drone to operate uncontested near critical assets can embolden adversaries. It can encourage more aggressive behavior. It can shift the perceived balance of power. And in geopolitics, perception often matters more than reality. Every interception is a statement boundaries exist, and crossing them has consequences. Let us pull back for a moment and look at Iran's strategy. Iranian drones are not designed to win dogfights. They are designed to create dilemmas. They are cheap, numerous, and increasingly capable. They can fly low to avoid radar, loiter for hours, and carry out reconnaissance or attack missions. Their real power lies in forcing expensive responses. If an adversary must use costly systems to counter them, the logic goes that adversary will eventually hesitate. That hesitation is the opening Iran seeks. Now comes the twist that keeps military planners awake at night. The F-35 is uniquely suited to counter this strategy. Its stealth allows it to operate without revealing its presence. Its sensors can detect small targets at long ranges. Its pilots can engage without escalating unnecessarily. Using an F-35 is not an overreaction. It is a controlled response that minimizes risk while maximizing dominance. It shows that even low-cost threats will be met with overwhelming capability. Every 10 seconds of this encounter reinforces a deeper truth. The missile fired from an F-35 is not aimed solely at a drone. It is aimed at the strategy behind it. It is aimed at the assumption that cheap tools can exploit expensive caution. And it is aimed at reassuring allies who depend on the United States to maintain open skies, secure sea lanes, and stable deterrence. Think about the sailors on a carrier group, the troops on a forward base, or the civilians living near strategic infrastructure. For them, the cost of the intercept is irrelevant. What matters is that the threat never reaches them. The emotional connection here is simple but powerful. Security is priceless. The absence of an attack is not newsworthy, but it is the outcome everyone relies on. There is also a secondary hook hiding in plain sight. When an F-35 engages a drone, it does so under strict rules of engagement, often in international airspace, with legal and political oversight. This matters. It prevents escalation. It demonstrates restraint through capability rather than restraint through inaction. The message to adversaries is clear: we see you, we understand you, and we can stop you without losing control of the situation. Another layer emerges when we consider training and readiness. F-35 pilots must practice real-world interceptions. Simulators are invaluable, but they cannot replicate every variable. Engaging a live drone provides experience that cannot be duplicated in a virtual environment. The jet, the pilot, and the entire command network are tested under real conditions. That readiness is part of what the United States is buying when it fields such an advanced aircraft. Here comes another suspense loop. Critics often frame the debate as a simple cost exchange, but warfare has never been a fair market transaction. During the Cold War, billion-dollar submarines hunted far cheaper vessels. Missile defense systems costing millions per interceptor are designed to stop rockets that cost a fraction of that. The logic has always been about protecting what matters most, not matching price tags. Now consider the alternative. What if the United States chose cheaper options every time? What if it relied solely on ground-based systems or older aircraft to intercept drones? Those systems may lack the reach, the sensors, or the survivability required. They might reveal their positions, expose vulnerabilities, or fail against more advanced variants. The F-35 provides flexibility. It can adapt in real time, choosing the least escalatory option while retaining overwhelming advantage. Every interception also feeds into a broader intelligence picture. Patterns emerge. Launch locations are identified. Supply chains are mapped. Command structures are inferred. Over time, this information shapes strategy, sanctions, diplomacy, and deterrence. The drone is gone in seconds, but the insight gained can influence policy for years. Let us not ignore the psychological dimension. When adversaries see their drones intercepted effortlessly by the most advanced fighter in the world, it sends a chilling message. It says that even your cheapest probes are not invisible. It says that escalation will not catch us unprepared. And it says that attempts to nickel and dime a superpower through attrition will fail. At the same time, allies are watching. Nations that rely on U.S. security guarantees measure commitment not in speeches, but in actions. Seeing an F-35 respond decisively reassures them that red lines are real. That reassurance stabilizes regions, discourages arms races, and reduces the likelihood of miscalculation. In that sense, the interception is an investment in peace, not a step toward war. Another hook to keep you engaged is this: the cost of the F-35 is often misunderstood. The jet is already built, already funded, already deployed. The marginal cost of flying a mission and firing a missile is far less dramatic than the headline number suggests. Meanwhile, the cost of allowing a drone to succeed even once could be catastrophic, measured not in dollars, but in lives and strategic setbacks. As we approach the heart of the issue, remember this: modern warfare is about shaping behavior. The United States uses the F-35 not because it is reckless, but because it is precise. It chooses dominance over hesitation, clarity over ambiguity, and deterrence over reaction. Every time a cheap drone is met with an advanced fighter, the rules of the game are reinforced. There is one final suspenseful insight to consider. The true risk is not to the F-35, but to the credibility of deterrence if it is not used. Adversaries constantly test limits. They look for gaps, delays, and doubts. A swift interception closes those gaps. It tells the world that even small provocations will be met with firm, measured responses. So when you hear the question again, why risk a $100 million F-35 to take down a $70,000 drone? Remember that the comparison is false. The real exchange is not jet versus drone. It is stability versus chaos, deterrence versus provocation, and control versus uncertainty. The F-35 is not protecting its own value. It is protecting the strategic balance that keeps conflicts from spiraling out of control. As you reflect on this, understand that the skies above contested regions are crowded with more than aircraft. They are filled with messages, intentions, and silent confrontations. Each interception is a chapter in a story that rarely makes headlines, but shapes the world we live in. The next time you see a headline about a drone being shot down, know that there is far more at stake than the price tags involved. Stay alert, stay informed, and keep watching the skies, because the future of warfare is being written in these moments, and the next development may already be unfolding as we speak.